guys, Penny Rose Journals, how you doing? Well, I'm here today to make some little charms for a journal. I have used these bits of mat board quite recently to make some journal cards with the watercolours. Today I thought I would use these little offcuts to stick postage stamps to and make little charms. So yeah, something very simple. Now I was thinking of using this little handheld punch to make the holes, but the one up on the right hand side there, but the hole was just too big. So I pulled out this little tool and I used it to punch a hole in the corner, and I'm now putting a little eyelet in there using the same tool at the other end. If you've not seen these tools before, they're basically a big spring with a punch on one end and I guess a little like hammer on the other end. You use the one end to punch the hole and the other end to flatten the eyelet into the hole. So yeah, they're very noisy, but they're very effective. So yeah, it's one of those things that you wouldn't want to use on a video if you weren't doing a voiceover afterwards. But yeah, they're quite effective little tools. I have 3 of them in various sizes, so I use them quite often, and they are pretty much the exact size I need for these particular eyelets. Please do not ask me what size these eyelets are. I have absolutely no idea, so I cannot help you with that. I'm sorry. Anyway, I am going to cut all these to the size of the postage stamps. The stamps are all pretty much the same size, but yeah, I do take care to keep them with their, you know, the little base with the stamp that I cut it for, just in case. So, but yes, I'm going to punch all of these and put a little eyelet in them all, and then we'll move on to the next thing. Right, that's a lot of little charms cut and punched. Um, Now, I had an idea while I was doing this. I didn't like the stark whiteness of this card, so I went down and picked myself up a cup and made some coffee in it, which I bought up, and I am just going to dip each piece in the coffee. I also bought up a hammer. Yes, the reasoning behind that will become clear very shortly, I promise. Okay, at this point these little bases are still wet, or at least quite damp. Now I'm going to use some metal punches on these. Obviously you don't need to use metal punches on it, you could just put a stamp on them. But I have these metal punches, they've been sitting around forever, I don't use them for anything. So yes, I'm going to pull those out. And yeah, I will punch a letter and some numbers into each one of these little cards. And what I'm doing is, you won't probably be able to see it that well, I think, because I'm using my whole desk at the moment. I'm going to take each one of these little punches and just dip it in some stays on. I have some Timber Brown stays on here next to me, and I'm just dabbing the tip of it into that before I use it on the card. And it just leaves a little basically stain. It's not a juicy pad at all, it's a very old pad, it's quite dry, but I just get enough on it so it looks like, I don't know, a dirty ingrained sort of number. And that's what they look like, and I think that looks interesting. So yeah, that's what I'm going to do for each of these. Each one of them will receive a letter and 2 numbers, and yeah, that's just a case of basically placing the little punch where I want it and tapping it with a hammer. That said, this is quite cheap matte board, just came out of a photo frame that I had, so it's quite soft to start with. It's just been soaked in coffee. Do not hit it too hard, you'll just mash it. So I learnt that with the paper punch thing that I was using before. If I hit it too hard, it sort of splattered. So yeah, when it's wet, I don't suppose it would take too much punishment, but yeah, I just gave it a bit of a tap, and yeah, we got a nice little impression. So I'm really happy with them, they're really cute. I had no idea when I started this is where I was going with it, but it just suddenly occurred to me that I had those and I never used them. So yeah, today's the day. having done all of that, I'm going to take these now, flip them over to the other side, and just stamp on them a bit. I've got this stamp that is just a pile of random numbers in all different sort of fonts. Yeah, I'm just going to stamp that on the backs of them, and just for something a bit interesting to look at on the back if you happen to be looking at the other side for some reason. So I will do that. I will get them all stamped up, and then I will stick the stamps, the postage stamps on the front. I'm just going to use a little bit of glue stick to do that. It will stick fine. These are thoroughly dry now, by the way. If they weren't dry, then yeah, I wouldn't consider trying to stick it on with glue stick. But yes, I did let them dry before I moved on to this step. I did this stamping with stays on. I didn't want it to bleed if it got wet. I don't know. I just did it with stays on. And yeah, I wasn't too fussed on whether it was a perfect stamp or not, or whether it just sort of was a partial stamp. It's just something of a bit of interest to put on the back. I'm using that same stamp pad. Like I say, it's not very juicy, it's quite old and dry, so I'm not necessarily getting a very crisp impression, but then this is one of those sort of stamps that's a bit random anyway, so it's a background stamp with numbers, so yeah, you get what you get. I like it, but you could definitely take more care if you wanted a better impression on the back. For me, it's just a bit of something to give you something to look at if you happen to be looking at the wrong side of the charm. So yeah, it's up to you. Now I've finished putting the postage stamps on these, well, on a few of these. I've just grabbed some glossy accents, and I'm going to use that to cover the front of the postage stamp. I'm not going to do the whole charm, just the postage stamp section, so I will cover a few of those and set them aside to dry and see whether I like that or just the postage stamp stuck down with glue stick and just left alone. But I do in the end decide that I like the glossy accents over the stamp, so that's what I do to all of them. Yeah, it's just gives it a bit of shine and it's a bit different. So yeah, that's what I decided I wanted to do. Well, here are our little charms, and here is a little container of bulb pins. It occurred to me as I was popping the bulb pin on that I actually have some little charms that are letters, metal letters that are designed to hang off of a chain or something. And I thought, well, I've just punched a letter into each of these little faces here that the postage stamps are stuck to. Why not find a corresponding charm and stick on my little bulb pin as well? So that's what I go and do. Just grab a handful of those and choose one to go with each one of these little postage stamp charms. Right, here they are, and I think they're looking very cute. So I have to put the glossy accents on most of these yet, but they will get done, and I think they will look super cute hanging off of a journal, either on a paper clip or just pinned to a page tab, or maybe just part of a spine dangle. Yeah, I just think they'll be quite a cute little addition. So I hope you've enjoyed watching me make them. Yeah, it was nice to have you around and have your company while I did it, and I look forward to seeing you again next time. I'll leave you with some photos. Bye.